So I have found something weird and I really need your help. So thing is, for those that don't know me, or those that actually know me or follow my videos, know that my Edge HD800 broke a while ago. The focus mechanism just snapped and it just simply stopped working. I sent it for the repairs on a guy at AstroTec named Mats. Again, Mats, if you're watching this, thank you so much. I appreciate the work tremendously. The Edge works flawlessly. I did try the Edge on one target before the season ended here in Stockholm, and I found something weird. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm gonna need your help on this one. I was thinking that I was going to show you guys that weird part, but also it would be fun to show you guys my work process on how I do imaging or post-processing of the images in 2025 using only PixInsight this time. So let me just show you guys my workflow, create my first ever image taken by the Edge, the fixed Edge telescope, and then let's have a small discussion about that weirdness in the image that I find. It's also on every sub, so it's not a stacking artifact or something. But yeah, let's dive into the computer and have a look at how I work. So these are the two stacked images and calibrated and ready to be worked on. This is the hydrogen data to the right, and to the left is the oxygen data. So again, the first thing that I do, I have my entire process here going from top to bottom. Very simple process. I don't use everything, but for HOO, what I will be doing is a rough stretching using the screen transfer function. And then I'm going to do some, oh, look at that, it's not in order at all. I'm going to do a dynamic crop to crop away the stacking artifacts, and then blur extermination. Star extermination would not be done on these images. Noise extermination, I will do a general hyperbolic stretch to stretch them. I will then do some pixel maths on I will then do some pixel math. Where are you? Here you are. There you are. Pixel math to create the HOO image, and finally I will do the narrowband normalization. These four are for other purposes, other type of images, so I'm just going to put them out there. So this is my process, and there's a PixInsight bug, as you can see. I drop it and they just come somewhere else. But screen transfer function, dynamic crop, blur extermination, noise extermination, yeah, general hyperbolic stretch, pixel math, and network normalization as the last part. So let's dive straight to the data and have a look at what we got. Screen transfer function first, I just nuked the image. Basically giving me an ugly stretch of the data, and you can see how sharp the edge is. I mean, look at this data, look at the details. This is incredible. I mean, oh my lord, the filaments are beautifully shown here, and yeah, it is amazing. And this is from my Boreal 9 balcony, mind you. This is highly light polluted area. The oxygen 3 data here, again, very nice as well. Stars are sharp and pretty. But I do have stacking artifacts. You can see that there are some black lines on the edges here. So I need to crop those away before I do any other work on this image. And they're not that many of them, so I don't have to stack a lot, crop a lot, but I'll just use the oxygen 3 here for some kind of template, cropping template, and then I'll just apply the same thing by dragging the triangular on the hydrogen data and then go back to the oxygen and apply the crop. Here we are. Simple, right? Next up, blur extermination. I just use the default ones. Just drag and drop the blur extermination and let it do its work. I'm going to, of course, fast forward this one so you don't have to wait. Okay, noise extermination has been applied on both images here. We can simply do the before and after. Before and after, and look at that. It's like having a brand new super good telescope. I mean, look at the details that this one brings. Oh my lord, and the stars are so smaller. So yeah, very happy with noise extermination. Same thing on this image. Let's have a look at the before and the after. Does a great job on the stars, this one. Okay, so here we are. Blur extermination is done. Let's do some noise extermination. So I'm just going to zoom in here, and again, default settings, just drag and drop. And again, I'm going to fast forward this so you have to watch it. All right, noise extermination complete. You can see the before and the after. Huge difference, right? Before and after, and the same thing with the hydrogen data, before and after. So yeah, this suite of noise, blur and star extermination is kind of a must-have if you want to do some serious astrophotography. In my opinion, it's just math, it's nothing else. It's not creating anything, it just finds out what the best parameters for the mathematical equations should be used. So here we are done. We're almost done with the entire workflow. I'm going to reset these ones now, and it's time to do some general hyperbolic stretch, which is an awesome and very powerful tool. I'm going to do first things first. I'm going to set the black point on each of these subs. So somewhere around there, going to linear, center black point, apply, and then do the same thing for the oxygen 3 data. Going to linear, center black point, apply. There we are. And then go back to the hydrogen, zoom in a little bit, and I can set a stretch point somewhere around there, and just have a look at the preview here. Now, the first things I usually do when I do stretching is I can simply do a one-time stretch like this and say that I'm done, but that's not a good idea. I usually start off with some kind of linear stretching, so I'm just minding my curve shape here. Not being very aggressive. 1.4, 1.5 on the local intensity is kind of a standard for me. And then I do small incremental steps by clicking apply a few times. So I'm clicking, and you can see the data starts to come out here. And at some point, I feel that for this particular target, I need to be mindful of the brightest areas here. So this one is good enough. I'm setting the black point one more time, pushing the data back again to the more dark areas, and then simply choose a stretch point again somewhere in the middle. But now I need to be careful of the brighter areas so I don't blow them out, right? It's very easy to do that. So just doing a tad more stretching here, again with basically the same settings as before. But for this particular target, I need to protect the highlights. So what I'm doing is I'm going to pull the slider for protecting the highlights. And you can see that the highlights are starting to like not being stretched or not being affected by the stretch at some point. So that's where I'm stopping, and again I'm starting to do these small incremental parts, but this time I am not affecting the highlights. I'm looking at them all the time, especially in this bottom area here, while I do the stretching here, and somewhere around there is a good spot. One more time, setting the black point one more time, like this, pulling back the data a little bit, and then just clicking on the image that's somewhere. These are the intensities that I want to work on a little bit, which is the background gas. And you can see again the highlights are starting to blow out here, and I don't want that, so being very careful on not pushing too hard or dragging too hard on the what are the bars, what they call now, again protecting the highlights and applying small steps. Again, these highlights need to be protected. Maybe somewhere around here, not really sure. But yeah, this is a good first spot. Let's have a look at what we got. What did I get here? You can see the data is not affected that much. I would, however, like to have a bit more background data, but I will do an additional stretch later, I guess. I'm not very happy with this one. I think I'm going to put back a little bit and do some additional one more stretching. See, because I want the background data now. I could mask, of course, but I don't feel like it right now, not for the sake of this tutorial. So somewhere around there, and then set a little bit of a black point somewhere around there. Okay, now I have stretched it a little bit differently, and I brought out the data in the background as well. So let's go head over for this here one, this one here, and going to center stretch point. Again, first thing I do is look at the curve shape. Somewhere here is a good place. If I just pull it out, you can clearly see that data is there. But again, not being too crazy, 0.5 there, some smaller steps here, smaller incremental steps. Again, starting to look at the brighter areas which aren't that prominent on the oxygen 3, setting a new black point, pulling back the entire histogram, and another stretch point. Again, looking at the shape of the stretching curve. Basically same parameters as the others. Do one stretch, and now it's time to look at the brighter areas here and start to protect them a little bit. Somewhere around there. So setting a new black point. Like so, maybe do a smaller stretch of these fainter areas. Just for funsies. A little bit, not too much as usual. So, protect the highlights a little bit. And one more. That should do it. And I'm just looking at the background now here on the hydrogen. You can see it's way darker than the oxygen, so I'm going to need to do some of these things here again one more time, making sure that the background colors match pretty much. I can do that later as well, but it's easier to do it in the black and white. Okay, so now I have two images that are stretched with quick and ugly stretch, but still stretch. I have the oxygen 3 data and the hydrogen data, hydrogen alpha data. So now it's time for pixel math. What I want to do is I want to create the HOO image, meaning I'm putting the hydrogen data on the red channel, which is the right one here. And then I'm putting the oxygen, this one, on the green channel and the oxygen on the blue channel, creating an HOO image for RGB. Let's have a look at my destination. I want to create a new image and I want it to be RGB color and run it. Voila! Goes pretty fast. I don't need the raw data anymore. I'm just going to drag them away from my line of sight. And here we are, an HOO image. Very nice. Look at this. Look at this data. It is incredible. I am so happy with the Edge. It gives me such details on, yeah, first image ever, and I'm very happy with it. But not done quite yet. I'm going to do some network normalization, narrowband normalization on this one as well. The palette is of course HOO, and I don't like mode 1 that much. I always do mode 2 because I'm maybe too traditional. I don't know. The lightness is always an experiment. Would it be H alpha that gives me the better image, or O3, or off for preservation? And for this particular image, I feel that preserve lightness is a little bit better. Just looks a bit better for me. I will do some O3 boost to bring up the oxygen 3 colors and data a little bit, but that is basically everything that I want, so I'm just applying that and closing those. So at this point I will probably move on to Photoshop and start working on the contrast and bringing out a little bit more detail, maybe maybe remove the stars and have a look at what the data looks like without stars. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna say that I am done here. And yeah, this is the Crescent Nebula, a Wolf Riot star inside here that shines so intense and so brightly that it affects the gas, and it has blown out its own outer region. You can see the blue region here, which creates this beautiful bubble-like thing. Yeah, with my new telescope. Very happy with it. This is only 6 hours of data, so it's not the best material to work with, but what I wanted to do is that I want to see how the Edge performs, and I mean, wow, look at this. This is incredible. But yeah, the weird part here. So when I look at other images online on this data, like I look at AstroBeam or I simply Google it or Wikipedia, I don't see my weird stuff that I get. So just by looking at this image, I kind of always do that. I kind of zoom in and I'm looking at like areas of interest, like, oh, what is this? Or I compare the same image with that I took a year ago. Have any stars disappeared? Or, you know, it's just like part of the exploration, right? But then I noticed this area here. Let me zoom in on that one. You can see that there is something red and something blue, and this very particular blue part here doesn't exist in other images online. On top of that, I get another blue weird area here, which also doesn't exist on others' images. And even further, I get some weird data here and here as well. So I am a bit baffled. So at first I thought that, okay, this is just a stacking artifact because these things are very close to prominent bright stars, so it's probably just my telescope or something that I did. But looking at other bright stars, I can't see that. And looking at individual subs, these ones are there. So I'm not really sure what these things are. I mean, yeah, there are oxygen 3 data, but I'm curious, why am I the only one that got this in my photos at this point? Maybe I haven't looked enough, but I still, yeah, I don't know. These 3 things, the 1, 2, and 3 kind of prominent oxygen 3 areas here. And if we look at where they are, like in the Crescent nebula, you can simply star jump, going from this bow of oxygen 3 to the center star, pointing to the star here, or the 2 stars here that point up basically to this area here. So yeah, not sure what these are. I'm going to continue asking, but I was hoping that maybe some of you guys watching this video and have taken the same target as me might know what these things are. So yeah, that's it for this video. Simple post-processing using PixInsight in 2025, my 2025 work process. It's not the complete process, of course. I usually, as mentioned, go to Photoshop and do some final adjustments. But for PixInsight and for an almost complete image, this is what I do. Not very complicated, as you can see. Pretty easy to pull out a good image pretty fast. And yeah, I mean, for me, I feel that the results are good. But anyways, if you like this video, do give it a like. And if you want to see more of my content, don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time. And of course, if you have any idea or clues or what the things that I captured there, why they aren't showing up in any other photos online, do let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.